In a world that is just overflowing with noise, how does anything actually break through? Well, that is the core question behind Seth Godin's game-changing idea, the purple cow. And in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly what it means to be truly remarkable. I mean, think about it. It's the biggest puzzle in business today. Why does one idea just take off and catch fire, while another one that might be just as good completely fizzles out? Well, the answer, as it turns out, has nothing to do with a bigger ad budget. It's about a total shift in how we think about the things we create. So, to really get the solution here, we first have to get a crystal clear picture of the problem. And it all starts with a pretty simple story. Just imagine you're driving down a long, winding country road. The first brown cow you see, kinda interesting. The 10th one, you've seen it. By the time you've passed 100 of them, you don't even see them anymore. They just blend into the background. And folks, that is exactly what marketing feels like today. We're so slammed with ads and products and pitches that our brains have just learned to tune it all out. Everything has become a boring brown cow. This really shows us a massive shift in the rules of the game. You know, the old formula was so simple. Make a safe, average product, throw a ton of TV ads at it, and hope the masses buy it. But that playbook, it's completely broken. In a world where your customers have zero time and basically infinite choices, the only ideas that win are the ones that are built to be talked about. Okay, so if the old way is busted, what's the new way forward? Well, Seth Godin says that the classic P's of marketing, product, price, place, promotion, they're all missing the single most important one. And that new P is the purple cow. Now imagine you're back on that country road, and in that same field, you see a purple cow. You would slam on the brakes, you'd get your phone out, you'd take a picture, and you would tell everyone you know. A purple cow is something so different, so remarkable and unexpected that it practically forces people to talk about it. It's a product that does its own marketing. And this idea just completely flips our whole notion of risk on its head. In a world where everybody is trying to play it safe, the single most dangerous, riskiest thing you can do is be boring. The new rule is simple. You have to create things that are actually worth talking about. But, and this is a really important point, a purple cow isn't about being remarkable to everybody. It's about being remarkable to the right people first. And to really understand why, we need to take a quick look at how ideas actually spread through a population. So what you're seeing here is called the idea diffusion curve, and it's basically the roadmap that every single successful idea follows. It always starts with the innovators. These are the real diehard risk takers. They influence the early adopters who are always on the lookout for a new edge. And only then, if you're lucky, does the idea cross over to the big early majority, and eventually, way at the end, the laggards who are always the last to come on board. And here is the absolute key insight. Trying to market your new idea to that big, safe majority in the middle, it's a complete waste of time and money. They're too busy, they're too skeptical, they're not listening. Your only path to them is by first making something remarkable enough to get those innovators and early adopters on the far left totally fired up. Which of course brings us to the real engine of viral growth. Once you've got those first few fans hooked, how do you get them to do all the marketing work for you? The answer is you find your sneezers. These are those key, influential people, usually your early adopters, who are so genuinely passionate about what you've made that they can't help but sneeze your idea onto everybody they talk to. They're the ones who spread what Godin calls the idea virus. So the strategy becomes really clear, and it's totally the opposite of what most of us are taught. First, you have to build that remarkable purple cow. Then, don't go after the biggest market you can find. No. You go after the smallest possible niche where your idea can totally take over. You find the sneezers in that tiny market, and you give them an incredible story they can't wait to share. Now, all of this seems to make perfect sense, right? Which of course raises one huge, obvious question. If being remarkable is the only way to win in this crowded world, why are we still drowning in this endless sea of safe, boring, brown cow products that are designed from day one to be ignored? The answer? Well, it really boils down to one simple four-letter word that stops great ideas dead in their tracks. It's fear, plain and simple. First, there's the fear of criticism. Because, let's be honest, when you make something that stands out, some people are not going to like it. Remarkable things are polarizing by nature. And then there's the other one, the fear of failure. Being different is risky. And most risky ideas don't pan out. It just feels so much safer to hide in the middle of the herd. But this is where you have to totally shift your mindset. If you're making something that some people are criticizing, that is often a fantastic sign that you're on the right track. It means you've actually made something with a point of view. And for every person who hates it, you're going to find other people who become its most passionate fans. So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. In today's market, being safe is exactly the same thing as being invisible, and being invisible is exactly the same thing as failing. The real risk isn't standing out and being different. The real risk is never getting noticed at all.